Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with another video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to use the brand new VST called Texture by Devious Machines to make better drums. I've got this kind of old school down-tempo trip-hoppy track going on right now. I'm just go ahead and bypass this. All right, so pretty laid back. This is actually a song starter from the Origin Sound pack manufacturer that I work closely with. I make videos for them, and I really dig their stuff. So I'm going to leave a link to this. If you like this style, you definitely want to check them out. You definitely want to check out their packs. But enough about that. Let's talk about texture. So I've got these drums loaded here. And they're pretty cool, but they're a little too clean for this style of music. So I'm going to use texture to kind of dirty them up, add a little bit of detail, and get them a little bit more cohesive with the sampley style of old school vintage vibes of the instruments. So what texture does is uses gate and envelope technology to listen to the envelope of incoming audio, and you tell it at what point to listen, how much to listen to, and so forth. And then it creates and synthesizes sound. So it actually uses samples that are built inside of it, or sometimes oscillators, or sometimes granular technology to create these sounds. So right now I've just got on digital white noise, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and run this, turn on the noise, and show you what it does. All right, so you can hear it there. It's just adding white noise that is a little bit longer than, due to the decay envelope time down here, than the original signal. So it's just adding a little bit of extra character there. And right now it's adding it to the hats, to the kick and the snare. But if I wanted to pull up the gate, you can see that this is bypassed. If I pull it all the way down, everything is triggering that noise. So the gate is very handy indeed. So here we can focus in on something. So right now it's actually passing by the peaks over here because I pulled down the limit. So this is a good way to figure out what you want to be triggering any noise. And what's very helpful with texture is layering it inside of a group inside of After Ableton Live. If I Control G to group this, I could put another texture here and here and here, and then you just keep stacking them, and then using the gate and limit to really only having one element of the drum loop trigger any one particular sound, if I don't already have the stems. Luckily for me, I do have the stems. I've got the kicks, the snares, and the hats on their separate channels if I wanted to jump in. But if you don't, that's how you do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just run it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I don't have this planned out or anything. We're just going to try to make these drums sound a little bit better using texture. So if I click right here, I get all of the different sounds inside of it, and there are over 300 different sounds built in. So something like Foley, I could just come into bamboo rattles, and let's see what that sounds like. All right, double clicking any of these parameters brings it back to its starting point. We got a filter here. This is for the sound, but it does have its own EQ right here as well. The filter's just really quick access. No matter where you are inside of the plugin, you'll always have access to this filter. And also when you add modulation to the filter, it will use this filter and not the EQ here. So I could add some cutoff modulation here, and you'll see that all right, so it's actually synced right now. We could turn the syncing off, and we got control over the speed. You got the LFO shape right here. All right, so I like that right there. Let's add another chain to this. I'm going to just Control D to add another one. right here inside of texture. I can go ahead and close this. Now, what I want to do for this is turn the wet up to 100% because I already have the dry here on this first one. And in fact, if I really wanted to get into it, I could add another chain, just delete texture and then rename it dry, come into this other texture and make sure it's on 100%. All right, so all of my instances of texture should be on 100% wet, and then I could come into the chain here, drag these over. And what we're doing is just making a dry wet situation here. So instead of going to 127, you only want to go to 126, and here instead of starting on 0, you want to start on 1. Like that. That way, when it's right here, the chain selector, it's 100% wet. And when it's over here, it's 100%. I mean, it's 100% dry. And when it's over here, it's 100% wet. So something like this. And then we can right-click here, Mac to Mapper 1, and there it is. Rename. Cool. So somewhere here in the middle, about 50-50 is a good place to start. Come out. And obviously we can go back in later to change that if we wanted to. So let's come in and actually just go ahead and solo this for a second. And let's change the sound source. We can actually change the default preset too, or the preset. All right, so when you change the preset here, everything changes. The modulation, if there's any modulation, the envelope, the filtering. While if you change the sound source, everything stays the same, just the sound source actually gets switched out. So you want to keep that in mind. Or what about drum tops? So that's pretty cool. So this is the dry, and this is where we are with 2 instances of texture. Boom. So it's already sounding better. It's just filling it out and making it sound like a one cohesive drum loop rather than just separate elements being triggered in different channels. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go ahead and duplicate one more time and come in here. And I really want some Foley or some like ambient people talking and stuff. And there is some cool stuff like that inside of here. We just got to find it. So we got crowds and Foley. Let's go to crowds. Let's go to Light Walla. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's see what that sounds like with everything. Yeah, so it's pretty much just going all the time right there. It just have a little bit of dynamics, but when the drums stop, it also will fade out, which is also pretty cool. It's like an automatic way, you know, I'm gonna get that Foley going on no matter when my drums are playing, but once the drums get out of the way, so will the Foley. So that's pretty cool for breakdowns and things. Also, it's not being triggered by the hi-hats for the most part, so that's another thing. So if I just have my kick and snare, it will be triggered, but if I just drop the kick and snare to the hi-hats, I should go ahead and do that. So you can see that it's gone away, because using the gate here, we're not saying, hey, every time there's a hi-hat, go ahead and trigger that walla. We're just saying whenever there's a kick and snare. So cool. And, you know, something like this, I really want to cut out that low end. I don't need it. I can come in here and turn on this high pass, or maybe go 24 dB slope there, turn it on, and then just really cut it off just to make sure that it's only happening, you know, above a certain range. The original EQ doesn't matter here because we're on 100% wet, but you do have the option when you do have a mix between the original and the noise to EQ the original as well, and right inside of texture, which is always nice. Do you notice the difference? How much better it sounds with texture? You know, I've just done it 3 times off the top of the dome here. It's fairly quick. It's kind of a long tutorial in, you know, terms of regular tutorial times, but fairly quickly in terms of producing, we've made it sound a lot better. We made it fit the instrumental part of this track, and it's, in my opinion, it just sounds way better. Boom. And I mean, I haven't even come in and started mixing things properly using the, you know, the volume inside of this effects rack, and really coming in and changing my envelope settings and my EQ settings and adding bits of modulation to even add more character to it over time. I'm just trying to show you how dope it is, and I think I've done it. So anyway, texture is available now. I'm going to leave a link to it in the video description. Highly suggest checking it out if you need this kind of character-driven drums or really anything. I will also link to some of the other video tutorials I've done for this for Plugin Boutique, where I make a kick drum, and I believe I replace some hi-hats. Some really cool stuff can be done with texture, and I've got quite a few videos out on it. So definitely check those out if you're thinking about grabbing it. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I'll see you next time. Peace.